Hey guys, this is a follow-up to my last video about the potential benefits of being single. I don't remember exactly what the title of it was, but something about being single anyway. It's really late at night or early in the morning, depending on how you look at it. I thought I'd make another video. I had too much Pepsi, so too much caffeine. Excuse me. Still gotta make my bed as well. But I thought I'd talk about some of the pros and cons of, or also ask as a question, which hopefully will invite more people to write your own 2 cents, as they say, whatever that means. Give your own opinion, whatever. I don't know what they call it. Give your 2 cents, or whatever. Yeah, hopefully in the future I'll learn to have a Patreon, and maybe like people can donate to a charity or something like that. I can create GoFundMes for charity and stuff like that. But anyway, in my last video I talked about the benefits potentially, as well as some of the negatives of being single. And I thought this time I'll talk about the benefits of the pros and cons of living independently. As I talked before about having a learning disability and having a not very well known learning disability called dyspraxia, which means, as dyslexia means difficulty with language, like words and letters and things like that. Dyspraxia means difficulty with movement, coordination. So it affects, I say it manifests itself physically. So normally people with dyspraxia are not very good at sport, although I play football and love football, but I don't know if I play it very well, but I certainly give it a good go. But and I have a very good passion for football, which I've had since I was young, for whatever reason. But many dyspraxic people probably never play football. Some might be like play football in certain positions, but like I've heard one or two playing goal, but normally in other areas they're not very good, which I thought being goal would be the hardest position. But anyway, I know if you're a striker, then you can. It's one of those lazy people who stays up front and waits for the ball to come to them and complains when it doesn't come to them. But sorry, that's a lame attempt at humour. But anyway, on a serious note, yeah. So dyspraxia. I don't know what percentage of dyspraxic people, as I mentioned in my last video, I don't know what percentage of us live alone. I'd love to know from fellow dyspraxics what percentage of us. Maybe I'll share this video with dyspraxic groups on Facebook or whatnot, as well as some of my friends who are dyspraxic. But in the past, I thought it would be great to host an event where it brings dyspraxic people together and talks about our experiences and our weaknesses, our strengths, and what careers are good for us and whatever, so we can gain from each other's experiences and find what careers dyspraxics might find the most happiness and satisfaction, because I think that's really important. So, but obviously, one of the things is it's quite difficult to organise an event for dyspraxic people, because our ability to find our way in a new city or to get transport, many of us don't drive. It's quite costly as well, obviously, to get from, like, if you're in Manchester and you want to get to London, you know, it's not always easy to find transport and things like that. So there were lots of logistical problems, unfortunately, in putting it together. But I think there are some people who have like events for dyspraxic people like in Manchester or somewhere. But obviously the cost and the time and all that is quite difficult to make. But anyway, so that's a note of being dyspraxic. So I still like sort of live with my, to be honest, I still live with my family. I know on this channel I reveal a fair amount about myself, I think. So hopefully people find some of these side stories interesting, and information about dyspraxia and things like that. But I think I think I'll go through some of the cons, I think, of if you live independently, off the top of my head. I haven't really planned this out, but I've thought about it a few times, so I might be able to think of some things. But I think, say for instance, I think if you live on your own, you have to do obviously your own cooking, cleaning, ironing, hoovering, or whatever. And I suppose it can also get lonely. And I suppose that if you feel frightened of something, you don't have someone to give you company that makes you feel safe, or if something went wrong in your house, like heaven forbid there was a fire or something like that, you wouldn't necessarily have someone to help you, or let's say if you've got no one to talk to or listen to or whatever. So that, I think those can be some of the negatives. Although I suppose if you don't have someone to talk to, you can always, like if you've got Facebook or like when I make YouTube videos, it feels a little bit like I'm talking to people as well, albeit through a camera obviously, but like on Facebook, like through a Skype, like the Skype sort of thing, whatever they call it, Messenger or whatever. or on Skype when I used to use Skype a lot. I talk to my friends from America and all over the world. So I think there are ways around that, so I don't get lonely in the sense of what of other people do. But if I was thinking about what my idea of sort of hell would be being on my own forever, like on a planet just by myself with no company. But so I think there are disadvantages to it, obviously. But I suppose obviously you have to do a lot of the work. Probably a lot of it I take for granted, like what my mum does for me. So that sort of thing. But I think also, so yeah, there's some negatives of living on your own. I can't really think of many others. But obviously, if you've got a learning disability, for instance, or if you've got phobias or anxiety or whatever, having someone to comfort or protect you or look after you and all that are some of the cons. But pros, I think that covers all the cons. I can't really think of any more. If I could think of any more, I'll probably put them in the comment section or include them in the description of the video. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you think about some of the cons of living independently, or if it's something you would do or already do or would like to do or would never want to do or whatnot. Or if you live alone and you don't really like living alone and you want to talk about how you would change that or what your goals are. I'd love to hear whatever opinions you got, like what your relationship goals are, what your relationships with your family are like, or whatever. But on the other hand, anyway, I'll try and cover some of the positives. What I think when you live together, I saw an advert, and I think a lot of truth is said in jest or whatever. But on this advert, there was an old lady, and she said, I know it's only an advert, as I say, but I'll say a lot of truth is said in jest. But in this advert, she said about something about her relationship with her husband, and she said we get on great, and then someone says something about, I can't remember exactly what the question was, but she said, oh yeah, we don't live together, and that's probably why it works so well. And I think if you don't live with someone, I think I mentioned about going to the library and talking to people in the library and all that, but I think when you see people outside, you can get on better with them. But if you live together, you find all your negatives or your flaws, your faults. And talking about the dyspraxia thing, I used to go to like a dyspraxia organisation here where I live, and near me, and well, about 3 or 4 miles away from me, I think it was. But anyway, it was mostly for parents, but they allowed me to come along because they were going to make a group for adults dyspraxics. And someone there said their son has to live independently because he's a nightmare to live with. So I probably sometimes think other people are a nightmare to live with. They probably think I'm a nightmare to live with, which is probably true. But yeah, you have like clashes where you do things or whatever. Like if one person's a bit more driven and another person not so driven, or one person like me, I'm a bit laid back normally, and I don't really do much cleaning or tidying up, really that much. So unless it's to appease my family. But if you live with someone, they love to clean and tidy up. You drive each other nuts probably for whatever reason. And like I'm a hoarder, but I don't really mind stuff being everywhere. One of the main reasons why I agreed to send it to parts of Asia, as I've talked about before, is because, and Africa as well, and all that, is because I want to keep one, I don't want to argue with my family, and two, I want to keep them happy, and three, I suppose it would help other people as well. But anyhow, so yeah, I think like having your own space to think and plan and not be disturbed. Like me, I get really irritable if someone says, like, if I'm focusing and my mum's like, "Bye, go," and shouts me to do something. Then I'm not very good at being patient with. Unfortunately, it's quite a weakness of mine that I'm like, why'd you go here? And she probably doesn't do it really that often, but when she does, I'm like, oh, she says, I've been calling you all the time. I've been calling you and all that sort of stuff. So I get like irritable, to be honest. So it's quite a weakness of mine, I'm sure. But I'm sure maybe other people would be the same. But some people might be like, oh, what's wrong with it? She's just calling you. But so like, if you're thinking about something, like, oh, you're thinking about charity, then it sort of can distract you. So I think like in terms of relationships, like what is expected of males to, in terms of romantic relationships, going from talking about family to romantic sort of relationships. is like you're expected to be like a provider and protector, and you're expected to do all these things, and so your attention, time, and money, which I talked about in my last video, would be like distracted from your desire to give it to charity or whatever. Hope that makes sense. But anyway, so yeah, I think you get your own time and space and peace and that sort of thing. So I hope I covered the negatives and positives. Again, if I've forgotten any, I'll probably include it in the description at some stage. But I'd love to hear what you think. So please don't hold back your feedback. Peace out.